Do not adjust your thermometer. You are seeing that it's close to 80 degrees at 8 o'clock in the morning. Welcome to summer. In case you were wondering where it had went, it hasn't gone anywhere.
Is it not over
The
yet?
next 7 to 10 days is low mid-90s. Saturday and Sunday is 97, 98 this weekend. Heat index 105 and above.
Anybody want to take a day trip to the mountains?
It was 70.
My mom and dad were up there yesterday.
It was
on
70
Parkway.
in Boone
71.
this morning.
Mom and dad were on the Parkway yesterday up near Grandfather Mountain. Dad
yeah.
called me last night. He said, son, the highest we ever saw it get yesterday. Now, they were on the higher Parkway. Was 71. And he called to let me know that after
When you
practicing
start
football yesterday at 12.
when you start bouncing up around 80 degrees in Boone, that's hot. That's hot.
Yeah.
That's hot.
Yeah. It's good. I mean, when Boone, Newland,
Yeah.
Linville, when they get up in that 78 to 82 range, then that means it's 7,000 degrees here. Okay.
I've told a story one
crazy.
time. I can't remember where I was working. It's 25, 30 years ago.
It's insane.
We were we had ungodly heat here, no rain. I wanted to go play golf. I made some times at Boone.
Yep.
Took one of my kids with me, and they didn't want to let her ride in the cart, so I went to another place. I went to what used to be Hanging Rock, which was Seven Devils. We got run off Seven Devils 3 times from rain and had not seen it. And by the time you got down to 105, it was gone because it was just in that valley. Those little things would come through the valley, and it'd be a little thunderstorm, so you'd have to get off the course.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. You have to.
But it was. I was so aggravated because I couldn't. I went somewhere to try to play golf in weather that you could stand it, and hadn't seen rain in weeks, and then I get rained off. Yeah.
It's interesting up there. The humidity obviously is not near as much up there. I mean, you know what I'm saying, as it is here. I mean, everybody knows that. But what's interesting is if it does get the least bit humid, all of a sudden it rains, and then it's not humid anymore, and it's nice and cool.
It goes away.
Yeah.
Stephen, Richie, Milton, good morning. I'll tell you the other thing, and I learned this when I was up there in school for 2 years. Down here, it feels colder because of humidity.
Yes.
And up there, because it's drier,
Yes.
you can stand lower temperatures. It's amazing how that
That's very
humidity
true.
makes a difference in how it feels.
After living up there, Lanny, and I'm not talking about going to school. I mean living, like holidays, just being there all the time. That what you said is very true. And I think that the great, I would say the great, to all of that is the wind. Right now that's when you can't stand the cold anymore up there.
Brutal.
Yeah, that's the piercing part because the kids, the first year I was at Avery, or the year I was there, it was, we're going on for almost in the second week of February, and the kids were asking me, Coach, remember, are we practicing outside today? It's first day of practice. I said, let me tell you something. I said, we don't play baseball in a gym. I will see you at 3 o'clock outside. Don't ever ask me that again. Ever. We have to play in these conditions. We're going to practice in them. So, Lanny, it was 3:45. It was about 39, 40 degrees. Everybody's bundled up. No problem. I mean, they're used to it. I'm not, but I'm toughing it out. I promise you, temperature dropped 8 to 10 degrees in a matter of 15 minutes.
Oh, yeah.
All of a sudden, the snow is not falling this way. It's coming from the ground straight up to your face. After about 10 minutes of that, okay, boys, let's bring it in. So see y'all tomorrow. The wind's just a little too rough today. Next morning, that cold front had come through. It's predicted to be cold for the next 5 to 7 days. And you know what I'm talking about. Everybody, So we had morning announcements, and I was the athletic director too and everything. And so our assistant principal got through the announcements, and I said, one final announcement, please. The baseball team will be practicing tonight at 7 in the gym. Please don't be late. Thank you very much. Oh, I didn't go back outside.
Didn't take but a day.
No.
Yeah.
The toughest guy in America was now not.
You're talking about in the mountains, you get that sideways snow.
And that's what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
It was crazy.
And it's what's amazing is the weather change, and I can speak more to Boone because I spent more time there, but the weather change when you come through Blowing Rock and start down the hill, you don't have to go very far for the weather to change. But
it's
like
true.
It's like you've hit a totally different world when you cross the top into Blowing Rock.
And they told me that when I moved there. They said, look, it's different here. Don't, just be ready for it.
Mm-hmm.
So it's September 30th. We're playing Owen at Avery. Okay, it's about 46 degrees at kickoff. No big deal.
Mm-hmm.
It's September 30th. Okay. It's so foggy, I can't even – I'm up top. I can't even see the field. I tell Coach Condrey about 3 minutes for halftime, I said, Coach, I'm going to come on down. There's nothing I can do here for you. I'm going to make my way down just so I know I can get to the locker room by the time. So we're playing Owen. Owen's beating us like 40-0. Classic Kenny Ford. All right, great. I love him. He's incredible, Coach. We actually held him. I made it down to the field with about 30 seconds left to go in the first half. They're punting. Their punter gets it, acts like he's kicking it. He turns around and does this. Nobody can see it. Hands it off to the end coming around. Well, he acts like he punts it. The whole team runs down to the right corner of the end zone. Of course, our whole team, nobody can see the ball. The guy's over there. Everybody's pointing up and everything. Our guys are running over to it. That dude's walking down the sideline. Touchdown. End of the half, they kicked the extra point. It's 47-0. We go in the locker room. Now, coming from Maiden, I'm like, guys, look, we got to keep fighting. We got to do this. We got to do that. Da-da-da-da-da. So we had like a 25-minute halftime because of some performance on the field in the fog. I come back out, Lanny, September 30th, 2001. 30th, maybe the 29th, whatever, on that Friday. Crystal clear. It was eerie. I walk on, just crazy. And it was real, like I could feel the cold. Walked on the field. The fog had frozen 20 degrees. It's 29 degrees. Dropped from 46, 48 to 29. The ice crystals were that high on the field. Now, they got turf now, but they didn't have it then.
I've seen it.
Dude, it's the craziest thing
I've seen it at Boone
God.
doing Appalachian games. You could watch clouds
and
fog just move in and consume the stadium.
Immediately.
And then 30 minutes later, it's just all gone.
It's crazy,
It's no, the way.
Crazy stuff.
There's a saying that there's nothing if you don't like the weather in Boone, just wait 15 minutes. Yeah. Todd Herm said there's nothing worse than mountain hot. And you're right. It's the thinner air. You're closer to the sun. It is. And people laugh about this, but I can remember on the dorm, where the dorms were in Boone, girls would be out laying in the sun in 50-degree weather.
Yeah.
Because, that was so different from what it was, what you'd normally see in the winter.
Crazy. When I was at ECU, we didn't have air conditioning in the dorms, and we moved down like the first or second week in August. And the first couple of years, 2 or 3 years or whatever, but it was so hot at that time of year. And you had fans in your – we'd take like 4 or 5 showers a day just to try to – we had no TV. Except like antenna ears.
And the worst –
no air. It's unbelievable.
The worst showers are the ones where you shower and dry off. And you're still wet because of the humidity.
It was
awful. Yeah.
And we had like 6 fans going, just trying to, Hey, you know what, though? I'm okay with it now.
Yeah.
Because it taught me how to – first world problem, but all kidding aside, it taught you how to survive.
Yeah.
And how to adapt and make things work.
Oh, yeah.
And get stuff done you had to do.
You just don't complain. You just move on.
Yeah, it was crazy. I'm complaining now, though.
I do, too. I'm soft. I don't mind telling anybody. Milton said in Colorado Springs, Colorado, October 1984, temperature dropped 50 degrees in 2 hours. Started snowing. 12 hours later, it's 12 degrees and 3 feet of snow.
That's incredible.
Rockies is a whole different animal in itself. I told you one of the things on my bucket list is that Century Celebrity Pro-Am thing they have. It's out Lake Tahoe.
Yeah.
To watch people on the lake
right.
in swimsuits and see the snow-capped mountains
in
the background.
That
is an awesome sight. That's one of those things I want to see.
When you do that, can I go with you?
Yeah,
if nobody
I'd love to go.
No, seriously.
Yeah.
And Robbie, I know we got guys on,
that would just be a great trip.
But I think Robbie would, I know Steven would.
Steven said 2006 South Bend 3:30 kickoff. Temperature was 68 at
halftime.
Halftime. It was 38 and sleet from snow effect.
Hey, was Seabass with you on that trip?
and the end of the game was 56 degrees and sunny. Yeah. Oh, it's just it's a different world. I was gonna mention one more thing about you was talking about Owen. Our Asheville station carried Owen football for a long time when Kenny was there.
Yeah.
And I remember going out there, and this was after they had turf. And one of the things that was so neat about that stadium is built on the end of the school.
Right.
The home stands back up to the gym
school,
wall,
right.
and the press box facilities are inside the gym. Looking out at the
Isn't
field.
That crazy?
That is neat.
And
that is neat. Steven said yes, he was.
Okay, it's just such a great use of available space.
Yeah.
Now I'm gonna tell you this: when I was football coach at Madison, all right, that's in Marshall, just right outside the city limits. Marshall, I think, is the only town in America that cannot grow.
Yeah.
Because it's landlocked, because of the mountain on this side, and it's a sheet of granite. Let me be very clear.
Oh, I know. Yeah.
You can get it innovative and be ingenuity guy all you want, but that ain't happening. It's a sheet of granite here, okay, and then the river here, right? So it ain't going nowhere. Neat place. But the high school's built right out on the new bypass that they put in. And what was so cool is our football stadium was obviously right there at the school. So we could look out the cafeteria. We would see the football stadium. And on the hill behind it, there were cows. It was just, in the distance.
Country.
It was incredible. 15, 20 minutes, you're in Ash Vegas.
And that's one
incredible.
One high school in the county.
It is.
And 1A?
They're 2A.
But they used to be 1A. Never?
Never.
Okay.
You
take Madison.
Yep.
You take Avery.
Yes.
You take Polk. You take McDowell. These are all one school, high school counties.
And Mountain Heritage is Yancey County. They're one school. Okay. Mitchell is one school.
Right. I forgot about Mitchell.
Right. And so
there's nothing really in Mitchell County except like Burnsville,
Bakersville,
and
Burnsville,
Spruce Pine,
but they're all
not
very,
big.
Very small.
Yeah.
But wonderful little communities there.
Oh yeah.
They've built a 4-lane all the way from 26 that leaves Asheville and goes north. They've built a 4-lane all the way, basically to the base of what's called 3 Mile Road, or three top. Anyway, at the bottom of where you go up to go to Newland or Crossnor.
Mm-hmm.
So, as far as being able to travel, you used to it take us 2 hours to get to Madison. Now it takes them like an hour and 15 minutes.
Wow.
But my point is it's amazing what they did, up on top of that mountain like that. The old Western Highlands was Avery, Mitchell, Mountain Heritage, Madison, and Owen. There's only 5 of them.
I did.
Yes.
I had to fill in. I had to fill in for Chris Montgomery, who used to do the games for us in our Asheville station, for Owen, and I had to fill in for him one week, and I had to do an away game at Avery.
Okay. Yeah. Beautiful.
Yeah. Yep.
And the gym there is an octagon.
Never been in the gym.
Okay. It's the
football.
most incredible facility. You can actually practice baseball in that gym.
Really?
Softball in that gym. It's an octagon. Incredible design. They built a new high school there in the front parking lot. They got rid of the parking lot and built a new school, 2 stories, but we're still able to keep the amenities. And, of course, they're tearing some of the old buildings down to give them room in the back. They've got turf fields. Softball, baseball is infield, but it's perfect for what they need. The softball field's all turf. Football field, all turf. Tennis courts, brand new. I'm telling you, they've been 1A size for like 40 years. When industry moved out, okay, a lot of people would still go down the mountain to McDowell, or into Spruce Pine when Spruce Pine had industry. When industry left the United States and we started making that transition from industrial base to, basically what we are, information age now, kids stopped coming back. They find other opportunities to work. Of course, that was the thing where everybody needs to go to college and that kind of thing. So these schools were playing 2A playoff games. When I was up there as the AD, we were 150 kids below the smallest 2A, and we were still playing 2A when I was there. Now, 3 years later, they made got into 1A, and Mitchell dropped shortly after that. Madison is a good size. Okay, it's still strong 2A. and Mount Heritage is now 1A.
And I believe they do a split conference up there, if I'm not mistaken, because they can't help but do it
Drone.
geographically.
You're right.
Yeah.
Drone, Rosman.
Mm-hmm. Wow.
Okay, hold on. I know. The High School Athletic Association really messed this one up. Imagine that.
Good, we've already taken
Drone,
left.
Rosman.
Yeah.
Okay. Mitchell, Heritage, and Avery are the 5 1A schools.
Mm-hmm.
The 2A schools are Owen and Madison. That's that conference. Drone. That's that conference.
Let's see here. Let me back up here a couple. Lincoln, good morning. He said June 74, he was in Yellowstone Park and got 6 inches of snow at the hotel, and it was gone by noon. Richie said took a training trip to Boulder in late December, left Greenville Spartanburg at 8:40. It was 70 and rainy. Landed in Denver. It was -3 and 2 foot of snow on the ground. He wasn't prepared for that. Bob said, good morning, Bob. Bob said Marshall used to play Glen Alpine in the old Skyline Conference.
Okay, so Bob, and I think he and I actually talked about this. Bob was Mountain Heritage, okay, what was it? Was it Burnsville High that played in that too?
Well, what used to be Silver Webster?
Okay, now that
was that Smoky Mountain?
That Smoky Mountain is Silver Webster. Okay. It's Silver Webster and like Cullowhee and.
But there is no. There used to be Silver Webster High School, and that's no more.
Because when
right?
Dad was coaching at Ford in 83, Silver Webster, Babe Howell, Coach Howell, was still coaching there.
Yep.
They came down and played Ford. Yep. And Ford was pretty good. The run with like Brian Kimball, he had already graduated. But they had. Coach Foster and those guys, they had pretty good teams, okay? Mm-hmm. And so played Civil Webster first round. And I remember Civil Webster had a quarterback. He was number 12, and he wore arm pads. And they ran, out of the bone. They ran the, veer option. And just real strong power run football team. So I go up, I'm like 11 years old, and I'm tapping my dad on the shoulder. He's like, Dad's coach. He's like, what are you? I said, Dad, that number 12's playing nose guard. Their quarterback was their nose guard.
Yeah.
Okay? Yeah. Get you some of that.
Yeah.
That's a little different. I'm going to tell you something. Ever since then, even though I played offense most of the time, dude, I was defense all the way, man. Oh, man, that was awesome. He was in a 4-point stance, had a full face mask with 2 bars. Yeah. I said, that's the baddest dude ever.
Chad, good morning. Todd and Bill Klein, good morning. Bill, we want to let you know your thoughts and prayers, passing of his wife yesterday.
Yeah.
And just want you to know that we are thinking about
love you, Bill.
Thanks for joining us in here this morning. Todd said Swain County is the only one school in the county. 65% of their land is National Park, and the other portion is Cherokee Reservation. They are 1A Love Mountain High School football.
Damn
Chad
Cherokee.
Mullis said almost struck by lightning, coaching all against
football
Avery one night.
Yeah.
15 minutes later, it's clear and beautiful.
Right. So what's interesting is
thunderstorms in the mountains are freaky.
Okay.
I don't know what it is because they're so close.
Laney, it's on top of it.
Oh, yeah.
And
I mean, it is
Chad's
freaky.
talking about, like on that football field, any sign of lightning, dude, you watch what the people that live there do. Watch what the locals do. When those thunderstorms start rolling in, they're in the bathroom or they're under shelter. They don't play around. They just
disappear.
Yeah, it's not about being tough. They understand. When you have a thunderstorm come over Grandfather Mountain, and you've been up there to Highland Games or whatever, and you've experienced being in the thunderstorm, not the thunderstorm happening, you're down under it. In the thunderstorm, Chad Mullis is it's 100%, my brother. Amen. Same thing on the baseball field. Holy cow.
Yeah. Bob said East Yancey and Cane River became Mountain Heritage, and Cullowhee and Silver Webster became Smoky Mountain.
Right. And what's interesting is there a lot of these small mountain counties have 2 or 3. Like Avery has 2 middle schools. Like he's talking about East Yancey and Cane River. Those are middle schools up there for that county. Mitchell County has 2. What I thought was interesting is they're 1A, but they got 2. Madison's 2A, but only has 1. And it's about 1.5 miles, 2 miles down the road.
Must
from high
be
school.
Smaller,
but it's so
geographically. The county the population must kind of be concentrated.
It's concentrated. But what's interesting is Madison's like one of the 2 or 3 largest counties in North Carolina. When I first got the football job, landmass. I told Mandy, I said, look, I want to get in a car, get a truck. I want to drive the county so I can see where these kids live. So we started a place called Spring Creek. It took us about 30 minutes to get there, going to the backside of a mountain. Okay, this was at 8:15 in the morning. Mandy had fallen asleep 3 times on this drive because she gets in the car and she's out. 3 different occasions. We made it back home at 10 o'clock at night, and I had still not seen the eastern end of the county. Now, I'm not making this up. That's the geographic areas.
And the roads, the way the roads run,
that's what I'm saying. Yeah. I made it to Wolf Laurel all the way through the county, just switched by everything. But I never got out to the eastern part, which is where the new 4-lane, is that goes right there near Mountain Heritage High School. It doesn't take long to get to Heritage at all. It's kind of close. But, man, I finally saw the Beach Creek community like 6 months later because I forced myself to go out to the elementary school. And I told the principal, I said, look, I've got to go see where these kids live. So give me a sub. I'm gone.
Yeah.
Crazy.
We'll take a break. Back with more.
Untangling your headphones, finding the right remote, saying goodbye to your favorite shirt that hasn't fit in 10 years. Why are simple things sometimes so complicated? Thankfully, with Auto Owners, insurance doesn't have to be one of them. Auto Owners works with independent agents who live in your community and answer when you call, so you can worry about more important things, like finding a new favorite shirt. That's simple human sense.
Call Mooney Insurance in Maiden or East Lincoln Insurance in Denver or visit MooneyInsurance.com.
Times convenience stores are more than convenient. They're your neighborhood store, your store. With locations in Lincoln, Catawba, Gaston, Iredell, and Mecklenburg counties, there's one near you. Times convenience stores have the right items at the right price, from snacks, cold drinks, and light meals from the grill, and there's always a special to save you time and money. Times has what you need. Times convenience stores, there's one near you. Regardless of where you're going, there's one on your way. Remember, there's always time to stop by Times. Have you thought about when you would like to retire? One of your major assets is planning for retirement is time, and you lose a little of it each day. The longer you wait to start accumulating capital for retirement, the harder it's going to be. How should you plan for retirement? Start by calculating approximately how much capital you will need at retirement, then estimate how much you will have to put away each year. Finally, carefully choose the investments in which you will invest. Stifel Nicholas can assist you. Call Fort Rembert today at 828-624-7300. Stifel Nicholas, member SIPC, and the New York Stock Exchange. First Federal Savings Bank has been serving Lincoln County since 1940. And as it has been from the beginning, customer service is a priority to First Federal Savings Bank. They want to get to know you by name. First Federal Savings Bank has the convenience, the products, and the services that the larger banks have, but with hometown people that you see throughout your community. Stop in and visit one of their 4 convenient locations and see what First Federal Savings Bank has to offer you. Member FDIC, an equal housing lender.
Whether it's a sit-down meal or a call-in for the drive-thru, Brookwood Cafe and Catering is the answer. A variety of meats, vegetables, and desserts cooked daily, or a hot sandwich from the grill, they have what you're looking for to satisfy your taste buds. If you need catering from 5 to 500, Brookwood has you covered as well. Stop by Brookwood Cafe and Catering at 202 Providence Mill Road in Maiden. Don't forget breakfast daily till 11 a.m. Open Tuesday 6 a.m. to 2 p.m., Wednesday through Saturday 6 a.m. till 8 p.m., and Sunday from 7 a.m. to 3 p.m. Call 828-428-8944 to place your order today.
Covenant Church began as a vision of just over 100 people in 1984. Since then, Covenant Church has grown and currently located at 2168 Gastonia Highway in Lincoln. The Sunday schedule includes early morning worship at 8:30, Sunday school at 9:45, and morning worship at 10:45. Their ministries extend beyond Sunday. Visit their website at www.covenantchurch.church to see all they have to offer, and better yet, stop by and see for yourself. Covenant Church may be just what you're looking for a new church home.
If you ask around, you'll find Burke Mortuary has a reputation for excellence and commitment to value. They've built a reputation of trust for more than 35 years. Burke Mortuary is proud to offer personal attention, meaningful tributes, and the area's most affordable prices. They're also proud to offer you beautiful, state-of-the-art facilities. It's the perfect place to honor your loved one. So when choosing a funeral home, the choice is easy. Choose Burke Mortuary with locations in Maiden and Newton.
In the best of times, no one is more deserving of every opportunity, encouragement, and support than the youth in our communities. Parents, teachers, coaches, and sponsors struggle to stretch their budgets to continue help. Communities need a team effort. Times Oil Corporation, a longtime member of the community, established the Times Educational Alliance Mission, or Team Foundation. Since 2011, over $125,000 in grants have been donated in the community. Times Oil and the Team Foundation are proud to be community partners.
Yeah, welcome back. I will update you. I had to pull my phone up to get my notes here. Last night, there it is. Had to be text this morning. American Legion Baseball post 100. Cherville wins Game 6, 8-7 in 8 innings. Cherville wins the series 4-2. They were down 2-0, came back 4 straight.
After a bunch of rain.
They'll play the winner of Rutherford County, Queen City for the Area 4 Championship. What was funny about this is they started yesterday at 5 o'clock in the afternoon at Cherryville at the middle of the second inning, okay, because they had already decided between the two coaches, we're going to finish this game. If the Gaston Braves won, it would be tied 3-3. They were going to play a doubleheader. It was going to be decided last night. They weren't out there an hour, and a deluge came.
Where were they playing?
At Cherryville, Fraley Field.
So it rained at Cherryville, and they went to Gastonia.
They stayed in Cherryville. Rained as
I'm sorry. I thought they were. I thought they were going to play.
The game they got rained out was at Gaston.
I thought they were going to go back to South Point, play that game, and if South Point ended up winning, they were going to go back to Cherryville.
Nope. They just moved everything to Cherryville.
And that's smart. Yeah. That's good. That's good.
And then even after they got there, who knows? It may have been better at South Point.
I got it. I misunderstood
but the storm came through yesterday.
Yes.
Keever sent me a shot from his car where you couldn't see. It was raining so hard. I wasn't even sure they were going to get it in, but they got started back after a couple of hours, and Cherryville was able to win it. The last time update I was listening, it was in the fourth. Cherryville was down 6-3.
6-3, right.
So I didn't see it. He texted me the results the next morning, let me know what's going on. And I don't know when that next series starts. I don't know. Do they give them a day off or is it a set day?
They can't now. It's the 22nd, and it starts tomorrow. So Queen City and Rutherford have to finish tonight, or they're going to revert back to a series of 5, and whoever was the winner of a series of 5 instead of 7 will then be declared. They have to finish because they got to have the Area 4 championship. Now, that's what I understand. What I think they might end up doing, because I think Jerry Hudson's the Area 4 commissioner now, and he's been, he used to be the booking agent.
Fatty.
Great guy. He knows all. I mean,
Fatty's Bean Shop downtown.
These guys are good. Mm-hmm. Okay, these guys are good. What they may end up doing, the only reason they play the Area 4 finals is to see who's the 1 and 2 seed.
Because both of them go.
Because both of them go. And that's what I was telling them years ago when we were playing Cherryville in Area 4. I said, Bob, if we don't get the games in, I don't really care what seed I'm in when I go to the state championship. I just don't want to waste arms. Mm-hmm. And the commissioner at that time said, no, we have to play the series.
They need the money.
But you know what I mean. So, whatever. But, the thing is, it's more important to get the 2 than it is for the kids, in my opinion, not to be able to finish, the 7. The game of 7.
Yeah.
The series of 7. So hopefully that's not what happens, okay? Hopefully they'll let them finish the series of 7 regardless and then just play a 1-game Area 4 championship if they have to. But, I think they do a good job.
And I thought they used to do that.
2 out of 3.
Okay.
And Yeah, Bobby not – and, again, this is throughout the years. I mean, you got Mike Grayson. You got all these guys that have been in it a long, long time. You know, Coach Bolick. We have really good – Ron Swinkett, Burke. We have really, really good experienced coaches. Jeff Gibson at Gaston Braves, he's the GM. Jeff's been doing this a long, long time. And, pretty much most of the time – with the exception of a couple of times, the consensus of trying to do the right thing is pretty much there. But we'll see what happens.
Yeah,
and it's exciting this time of year. I did talk to a Legionnaire for a couple hours on Sunday. A good friend of mine that lives here in Maiden. And I think I was telling everybody about it on Tuesday. Again, I really, really, really hope that at some point they can get it back to 9 innings, even if they have to play 7 in the World Series. Get it back to 9 before you go on TV. It's just a better brand of baseball, and it's more attractive, in the playoff time for people. It's just more attractive.
Stephen said he heard several of the older Maiden faithful talk about a player from Silver Webster from, I believe, the late 60s that was one of the best that they'd ever seen. Name, I think, was Reggie Love, went to Michigan State, had a heart attack his freshman year. Bill Klein said, my first football game to officiate was Old Fort and Polk Central.
Holy cow.
Yeah. And
wow.
Stephen asked him what was his first year. Richie said Gaston Braves don't play at Sims anymore. No, here's the deal. They haven't played at Sims in a long time because Sims was home of the Grizzlies, the Wooden Bat League. Now they've moved over to where the Honey Hunters, Honey Badgers, whatever they are, and the Sims is now Gaston College. It says Gaston College on the outside.
But there's 2 teams in Gastonia. Okay, in that area in Gaston County, it's the Gastonia Post something, and they played at Sims. Okay, and then you got the Gaston Braves who played at either South Point. or at, because they combine with Post is 144-266, which they combine with what used to be Stanley Legion, which plays at East Gaston. So Gaston County, I say they got 2. Cherryville makes 3, right? 3 Legion teams. But the Gastonia Post plays, and they work on the schedule. They play – and I don't think they had – let me look and see if they had a team this year.
No offense to Cherryville, but Gaston County doesn't claim Cherryville.
Cherryville
should have been put in Lincoln County a long time ago.
County. Had a friend of mine in Hickory, it's a lawyer, said, I didn't realize Maiden was in Catawba County.
Just part of it.
I said, it's not.
Just part of it. Just the town.
It's not.
The majority of the property that have Maiden addresses probably are in Lincoln County because it goes all the way down towards Denver.
Yeah, if you get real estate emails, it's Maiden this on Ivy Church Road,
yeah.
and that's North Lincoln as much as you can
I'm gonna throw this out here for you. The Miami Hurricanes are ditching the turnover chain for the 2022 season, according to first-year coach Mario Cristobal. It's not part of our culture. Miami's turnover chain is an oversized 36-inch, 2.5-kilogram, 10-karat gold chain worn by players on the sidelines after forcing a turnover. It's been used by the school since the first game of the 2017 season. I got to be honest with you, okay, and this will tell you who I am and what a butthead I can be. I'm with him 100%. I don't like things that bring attention to individuals. And I'll tell you why. When I was at Highland is when the pantyhose first broke out, okay, with high school players playing in the pantyhose, and I would not allow my kids to play. And then I got, well, Coach, that's all I've got. Okay, so you know what I did? I went to Essex Sports. I bought dozens of white athletic socks, and on Friday night, you took your pantyhose off, and everybody put on a pair of white socks that I furnished them because I don't like that. And part of that was you've got kids on a team that may be better than you, and they can't afford the pantyhose. So we're either all going to wear them because we're a team. We're not individuals. We're either all going to wear them or none of us are going to wear them. And I was a stickler about that, and that's why I can't do this anymore because I'm too old school. I'm too old school. So I like what Cristobal's doing. Yeah. And I know Miami's had that reputation of being Thug U, and they probably need to lose that. And maybe Mario Cristobal can do that.
Yeah.
This is Lanny's opinion, okay?
Right.
You can reach me right here.
And the thing about it is, it's times and culture and things, change, especially in the sports, the sports arena. It kind of leads that cultural change, that in music, right?
Mm-hmm.
In Hollywood, right? So, when things, when things work themselves, normally it goes West Coast to East Coast, and it takes, a little bit of time to work things in, right? That's where kind of trends, fashion, those kind of things are started. Well, sports have become fashionable. It's incredible if you go out to a travel ball, where little kids, big kids, doesn't matter, playing. They look incredible. Now,
but they all look the same. They at least all look the same.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is like, just and then some of them will have chains they'll wear in, all this jewelry around their necks. Of course, when it's time to play ball, they'll take it off for the most part. But it's just very interesting to watch. And I started seeing it in high school football in the 90s where kids, like I was watching the Shelby, and they were playing whoever it was. And I watched the Shelby Maiden thing the other night on YouTube, but from back in the day. But what was interesting was you could see things start branching a little bit when players would start taping their thighs. They saw it on TV.
We didn't do that either.
Go, keep your thigh pads up. I'm going to tape them. All right? And then, then it transitioned over to, looking like cat in a hat socks. Instead of all one color, you'd have blue, white, blue, white, blue, all the way up. I mean, whatever. But you could see the individuality within the team sport start speaking a little bit. And then what it's transitioned into today, that's why the NFL and Major League Baseball and, NBA have such strict guidelines about what you can wear, because it could get really interesting really quick. Because look at a high school recruiting trip right now. It's incredible.
Mm-hmm.
Put the uniform on.
That never happened. That never happened.
Rob Van Dam, remember RV? I mean, just look at here's the back here. I'm in this. I mean, that's the culture.
I know the only thing. Let me get this. Tyrone, good morning. Cody Long. Tyrone, you're up off early. Bob said Old Fort merged into McDowell in 72.
I think there's like 7 high schools or 8 high schools in McDowell that came in. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
Dad was telling me about that a few years ago.
Richie said in Mario's defense, if they would have done more after the turnover chain, that it might be a good thought to keep it. Statistics show that Miami did not capitalize on the turnovers. I think they only scored a touchdown on less than 10% of the turnovers.
Yeah.
That's my point. Point.
There's got to be substance instead of the style.
It's got to. I mean, I'm okay with it if it goes all the way. But
yeah, I thought the funniest one I ever saw was a smaller college that they were. Come on. Small college football, the kids are having a great time out there. The guy intercepted a pass, a big lineman did. He intercepted a screen pass, and he was running a little bit, and he got tackled. He come off the field, and the big fur coat and the Burger King hat wouldn't even fit on his shoulders. It was the funniest thing ever. They tried to get the chain around his neck and the big fur coat. Just funny stuff.
Wow.
And they couldn't get it on him. And the guy's sitting there, and he's running around with half a coat on and holding a chain on his head. He's got Burger King hat. It fit like, it'd be like this on. I mean, it's so funny.
Link thought Jimmy Johnson started that, but I'm like Rich. I think it was Snellenberger. That's where the behind the scenes, under the table stuff started happening.
Their philosophy was, and I know you remember this because Snellenberger was a big time.
Yes,
like that. That's huge. He was so. They had a couple runs with coaches back to back there that were so about the individual being able to express themselves in order to get team goals achieved. Now, Jimmy obviously, was a master at that because he did that at Dallas, but you could never really tell, even though he let them, kind of be themselves, but it was in a confined, with some constraints. I just think that things have gotten overboard because, people all of a sudden start griping about their first world problems, players. Well, you're not letting me be me and all this stuff. Well, there's people starving in Africa. I tell you what, we're trying to get things done here.
Yeah.
Let's focus on the things that are most important. But, society is, for a few years, has tilted towards that. Now you can see things starting to bend back because what people have realized is, especially young people, and I can see it in Quinn's group, they're seniors this year. I've been watching these. I mean, obviously these kids since basically they were born. Coached a few of their parents. They're friends of mine. Whatever. What's interesting is when we go out and have our workouts. Yeah, we have individual talent, and we've got some pretty good players, and we got strong kids. Okay, credit to them. But they're more concerned about each other and how the locker room is working out.
That's different.
No, that's what I'm saying. And I was talking to Coach Burton about that yesterday. I told him, I said, Will, I said, this is kind of the group of kids. And last year's kids were great, but we just have we got 23 seniors, all right, 23 seniors. It's just interesting to have that kind of mix and the way that they are, where you don't have that one guy that just, I'm me and I'm just going to do, you don't have that. And I told Will, I said, you only get this 2 or 3 times at the most in a career. And, as a guy that, 30 years now, you really need to enjoy this environment because this is what you kind of strive for.
It makes the day-to-day a lot better. It's a lot better environment to be in.
What's interesting, there's nothing that sucks worse than Monday football practice, especially in full gear. All right, Tom Brown was a genius. Hey, Monday helmets only. Had the best practices ever.
That's all we ever did.
But
maybe shoulder pads.
Right. Maybe. Incredible. But what our kids have started doing is they say, Coach, we're not calling it practice anymore. It's game prep. And what they've done is they've switched their mindset where Monday doesn't suck anymore because this is about Friday, and I'm ready to go.
You know what sucked most about Mondays?
What?
Film.
Oh, did y'all do it after practice?
Oh, God, no. No, Coach would get pissed off before we went to practice. That's the first thing we did.
Oh, y'all watched it first and then went out.
Then we went to practice. And that usually determined how much gear we wore.
Oh.
Now, when I was coaching, we didn't do that. We knew what we were going out.
Right.
And I didn't watch a whole lot of film. Very seldom would I watch with my kids. Did I want to watch the previous game's film? I knew what we needed to work on.
Yeah.
I would watch the opponent film.
Right.
Okay, here's what you need to look for, and those kind of things. Because it became a highlight reel to the kids. Watching
that's
your
what they
game
do.
Ooh,
just
hated that.
I said, okay.
Hated that.
That's fine.
So
we're doing up downs in the film.
I will say this
Shut
before I take a break. When I was in high school, there were only black cleats. Okay.
When you were in high school.
Yeah, they were
Rydell.
Right. They were changeable cleats.
The screw-ins, right?
Yeah, they were leather bottom, and they were only black.
And they had white laces on them. Is that right?
You could do either one.
Okay.
Yeah, but that's all you had. Now, some of us individuals, because we really liked watching a guy that played for Pittsburgh named L.C. Greenwood.
Oh,
he wore gold shoes.
Yes.
Okay, so what did we do? We went and got spray paint, painted them red and gray.
Y'all are awesome,
yes,
dude.
sir.
That is awesome.
And Coach Beam, Matt Beam's dad, who was one of my coaches.
Who is his dad?
Who's Matt's dad?
Yeah.
Wes.
Okay, so that is his dad, not his uncle.
That's his
dad.
I'm
sorry. Yeah, I know Coach Beam. I'm just saying, yeah.
Okay, so he went and bought red athletic socks with gray stripes.
Whoa.
And we wore them with our gray pants. That was before pantyhose, but we all did it.
No, everybody
gave us a pair.
Right.
Yeah, he gave us a pair. But
did you still wear your gold shoes?
Yeah.
Were they cool?
We had to paint them every week.
Oh, yeah, you have to. Yeah.
We painted our shoes.
That's so cool.
That's so sad. Ronnie said he just threw his in the trash last week, an old black Rydell cleat, and that was the only coach's shoes you had. You had to slot it on the bottom. They were black Rydell, and the other shoe that I remember, and it may have been the same company, was Spot Built. That may have been the same company with Rydell. Let me take a break. Hold that thought.
Bike shorts. We'll get back to it.
Yeah, I used to shop at the bike store because they made them in Cherville.
Untangling your headphones, finding the right remote, saying goodbye to your favorite shirt that hasn't fit in 10 years. Why are simple things sometimes so complicated? Thankfully, with auto owners, insurance doesn't have to be one of them. Auto Owners works with independent agents who live in your community and answer when you call, so you can worry about more important things, like finding a new favorite shirt. That's simple human sense.
Call Mooney Insurance in Maiden or East Lincoln Insurance in Denver or visit mooneyinsurance.com. Times convenience stores are more than convenient. They're your neighborhood store, your store. With locations in Lincoln, Catawba, Gaston, Iredell, and Mecklenburg counties, there's one near you. Times convenience stores have the right items at the right price, from snacks, cold drinks, and light meals from the grill, and there's always a special to save you time and money. Times has what you need. Times convenience stores, there's one near you. Regardless of where you're going, there's one on your way. Remember, there's always time to stop by Times. Have you thought about when you would like to retire? One of your major assets is planning for retirement is time, and you lose a little of it each day. The longer you wait to start accumulating capital for retirement, the harder it's going to be. How should you plan for retirement? Start by calculating approximately how much capital you will need at retirement, then estimate how much you will have to put away each year. Finally, carefully choose the investments in which you will invest. Stifel Nicholas can assist you. Call Ford Rembert today at 828-624-7300. Stifel Nicholas, member SIPC, and the New York Stock Exchange. First Federal Savings Bank has been serving Lincoln County since 1940. And as it has been from the beginning, customer service is a priority to First Federal Savings Bank. They want to get to know you by name. First Federal Savings Bank has the convenience, the products, and the services that the larger banks have, but with hometown people that you see throughout your community. Stop in and visit one of their 4 convenient locations and see what First Federal Savings Bank has to offer you. Member FDIC, an equal housing lender.
Whether it's a sit-down meal or a call-in for the drive-thru, Brookwood Cafe and Catering is the answer. A variety of meats, vegetables, and desserts cooked daily, or a hot sandwich from the grill, they have what you're looking for to satisfy your taste buds. If you need catering from 5 to 500, Brookwood has you covered as well. Stop by Brookwood Cafe and Catering at 202 Providence Mill Road in Maiden. Don't forget breakfast daily till 11 a.m. Open Tuesday 6 a.m. to 2 p.m., Wednesday through Saturday 6 a.m. till 8 p.m., and Sunday from 7 a.m. to 3 p.m. Call 828-428-8944 to place your order today.
Covenant Church began as a vision of just over 100 people in 1984. Since then, Covenant Church has grown and currently located at 2168 Gastonia Highway in Lincoln. The Sunday schedule includes early morning worship at 8:30, Sunday school at 9:45, and morning worship at 10:45. Their ministries extend beyond Sunday. Visit their website at www.covenantchurch.church to see all they have to offer, and better yet, stop by and see for yourself. Covenant Church may be just what you're looking for a new church home.
If you ask around, you'll find Burke Mortuary has a reputation for excellence and commitment to value. They've built a reputation of trust for more than 35 years. Burke Mortuary is proud to offer personal attention, meaningful tributes, and the area's most affordable prices. They're also proud to offer you beautiful, state-of-the-art facilities. It's the perfect place to honor your loved one. So when choosing a funeral home, the choice is easy. Choose Burke Mortuary with locations in Maiden and Newton.
In the best of times, no one is more deserving of every opportunity, encouragement, and support than the youth in our communities. Parents, teachers, coaches, and sponsors struggle to stretch their budgets to continue help. Communities need a team effort. Times Oil Corporation, a longtime member of the community, established the Times Educational Alliance Mission, or Team Foundation. Since 2011, over $125,000 in grants have been donated in the community. Times Oil and the Team Foundation are proud to be community partners.
No, I didn't forget about you. We were just had a couple housekeeping things I had to take care of. Let me go back to the comments. You throw up bike shorts and it starts to pour in here. Milton said you're exactly right, Milton.
Oh, man.
Bike Athletic was on Tot Dellinger Road near the water plant in Cherokee.
Okay, gotcha.
And they had an outlet store. And you could go up there and buy.
Get your shorts.
Yeah, and shoes and everything, because Bike made shoes.
Well,
They made shoes back in the day.
Hey,
And Milton said his sister worked there.
Okay.
So, but that was right above my family's, my cousin's house, and that's all that we wore. That's all that I had.
That's what my football coach said at East Burton.
And you had you wore the short ones.
Yeah. Oh, Man, I'm telling you, first encounter with Frank Snyder.
Finest quality in polyester.
Oh, my gosh. So my dad had a pair, back in the 80s, and, of course, whatever. So, anyway, so I'm at East Burke, and I'm a junior. I get invited to the baseball state games tryout for Region 7. Frank Snyder's the head coach. Didn't know him. We show up at LR, all right? We see this guy. He's in his 30s. He's pretty, you can tell he's all about it. Shows up, maiden blue pair of bike shorts, socks about halfway up the white socks halfway up the calf, black shoes, coaching shoes. All right, shirt was tucked in. All right, one of the hats, but not the low profile hat. All right, the baseball hat. And he starts talking to us, and we're all sitting there. There's about 25 of us.
Yep.
I said, what in the – I said, what is going on? I fell in love with him. Now, he wore those bike shorts with as much pride.
All you had.
Laney, pride.
I wore them before I was ever coaching.
Holy cow,
I wore them.
I'm going to tell you something, man. Frank Snyder's I was telling you, man, he's one of my favorite human beings. He has coached for years. He's been at, a few different places, but, he still lives here in Maine with Wanda. My wife had Wanda for class. She played, tennis at the high school, when she was in there. She was always about Frank and Wanda. Anybody that lives here that had an experience with either one or both of them understand what I'm talking about.
And the same people today that they were.
Yes.
Always.
And just wonderful. Well, when we were at the state games, Wanda was pregnant, I think, with Amanda. Now, we're talking about 1989 here, okay? So I remember Wanda's about 8 or 9 months pregnant. Frank had the Fu Manchu mustache. It was awesome.
Yep.
Awesome. All right. So we're playing down at Boschheimer Stadium in Carolina, and I see Wanda come walking in. It's the first time I ever met her. Dude, it was incredible. She was there. It was 100 degrees. I give her all the credit in the world. I don't know how she was there because she looked like, ready to go at any moment. She was there with us for 4 days. She was like the team mom. It was awesome. Danny Harbison, Fats. That's the first time I met him. He was our trainer. Oh, my God, dude. These guys were awesome. And, I mean, here I am at East Burke, but there's not good connectivity on roads at that time. So you have to go through a bunch of, whatever to get to Maiden, right, at that time. So didn't get to go down here, any at all. Just only heard about it when my dad was coaching at Ford. I never got to come over and watch a game when I was a kid, right? It just didn't work out that way. But I absolutely loved it. But Frank, just playing for him, and then years later, being able to coach with him, for a few years, was a great experience.
Milton said his sister bought him by seconds at Bike for 50 cents a pair.
What?
And you got T-shirts. I mean, they had everything.
No.
The outlet store was great. Ronnie said Wanda and Frank were both dedicated coaches. Bob, I've got a question if you're still out there, and you may know the answer to this. I've always wanted to ask somebody that knew. When you go up the old 127 back way up through Brookford, there's a baseball stadium, and there's the old elementary school, I guess. Was that ever a high school? Was that ever a high school stadium? Because that baseball field's got –
Brookford High, I believe. Bob, is that right? Because
it looks
baseball,
like it.
Because they played softball there for a long time, but it's been used, obviously, for baseball. Because I want to say one of the high schools, like Challenger or something like that, used it.
I mean, it's kind of in disarray now, but it looks like it could have been a high school stadium.
And Dad was telling me – now, we lived in Valdez, but Dad was teaching at Ford, so he knew, like Jerry Cope, they would all talk about
you lived in Valdez!
Yeah, before that guy, okay? The Brahma Bull guy, yeah, right, that looked like a donkey. But anyway, that's another story. But Dad, teaching at Ford, Jerry Copus, Dad knew a lot of the history because they would talk about it. They said he used to have massive, softball games and tournaments, at that field in Brookford. And the one thing they was talking about is the Brookford Bear.
And
the guy that would pull you over if you're going 36 and 35.
Oh, yeah. And that's when I was in high school.
Away.
That's when I was in high school.
Yeah.
You
he was
did.
pulling too many people
You did not.
Clogging up the court system.
You did. There were two places you did
still
not
don't speed through there at all.
Right.
I'm like 34.
And one of the other places that's still like that is Catawba. Barry Drum told me a story one time.
Yeah.
He said,
you gotta be careful.
Barry Drum said he was coming through there in the fertilizer truck, and he got pulled over, and he said the cop told him, said, "Hey, you don't speed through my town."
No.
They
Good
take
revenue.
it serious coming
Good
in on
revenue
10.
stream.
Yeah. So that hadn't changed. Richie said they've just had some bad storms, just lost power where he's down near Greenwood.
Oh yeah, right.
Yeah,
Hey,
yeah.
sorry, brother.
When it's hot and humid like this, boys, they just blow up and they're vicious. They're just vicious.
Yeah, I can see Ronnie's comment, which I don't know why my eyes are clearing up. I normally can't see anything, but he's talking about how I think it's dedicated. Is that what? Okay, yeah. And that's so true because they truly care about the people and the kids that they are working with and for. The one thing that I always thought about Frank and Wanda, kind of like my dad, they were always working on behalf of the kids and for the kids and never about themselves. You know, they really enjoyed what they do, but they were doing it for people, which you can tell when someone's doing it for themselves or they're doing it for the benefit of others. And that's what Frank and Wanda, you know, my dad, there's countless other people, but that's what I know that about them. You know, I know that. They're just wonderful. Frank comes up to me about 6 or 7 years ago. I see him over I believe it's Scotty's when they were doing breakfast while Brookwood was being rebuilt, down for a couple of years. And Frank walks in one morning. I'm sitting there with Steve Sims and Mark Midget and all the guys. Some of the guys I go to church with, and then Ronnie and some of his guys, but Brian Long. And Frank comes in, looks at me, and says, "Fort, I played semi-pro baseball with your daddy." I said, "What?" I said, "I've known you almost 30 years. What are you talking about?" He said, "Yep." He said, "You guys were living at Seven Lakes, and I just got through graduating from Catawba. I think I pitched a no-hitter my last game there. But anyway, your dad's team, he played for Roxborough Blues, and they needed a pitcher that night. And they called me up. So I drove and met your dad at Seven Lakes, and we drove 2 hours to Roxborough to play the game." I said, "Well, that's incredible." He said, "No, what's incredible is I've never sat in the backseat of a Volkswagen with a kid that squirmed as much as you did. You were 2 years old, and or
that's
3 years
dead
old."
On.
He said,
that's dead on, Frank.
"I've never in my life," he said, "you beat me to death." He said, "Now, I went out there and pitched pretty good. I think I only gave up one hit, and I think it was like a bloop single that the second baseman probably should have had. But anyway," he said, "but I played with your daddy." I said, "Frank, I've known you basically my whole life. How do I not know this? Why have you never told me?" He said, "Oh,
That's funny.
He said, "Now, after the game, on the way home, he said, I thought you were dead because you didn't move." He said, "You went from the Tasmanian Devil to like dead weight."
Yeah.
He said, "You laid your head on my leg the whole way back."
Wow.
Because there was another guy that went with Dad.
Yeah.
But Dad was still playing at that time. And what's interesting was, Bob, you and Ronnie will probably remember, and Milton, Rich, you guys, y'all are versed in these things and got, in that time period. Al Holland, who pitched for the Yankees, retired. Well, he was pitching in Roxborough because that used to be like the mecca of semi-pro baseball, basically in the eastern U.S., okay? I mean, it was a big deal. And these are a lot of former pro guys. That's why they called it semi-pro, because the guys were done. Or there was almost pro guys that came back and played. So Dad played first base. He's a left-handed hitter, threw right-handed. Al Holland was throwing 94 that night, which today's like 110, okay? I mean, guys out there, you know what I'm talking about. And one of the guys that Bedford Roberts, who was Dad's manager he was in his 70s when I was like 11 or 12 years old. But apparently Al Holland was pitching against Dad's team, and he threw Dad a 1-0 fastball over the middle of the plate, and Dad hit it over the light pole in right field. They said it's the longest home run they ever seen hit at Roxborough. Dad was using they use metal, but it was the old Adirondack bats that were like 34, 36, before they started the technology. So they were a little more than wood, but not a lot. But they said Dad absolutely. And I try to get Dad talking about it. He's like, yeah. But apparently, Dad played. What's interesting about my dad is he don't talk a lot about what he did and all this stuff. But he was a all-state basketball player at Mebane High School. Mm-hmm. He was also undefeated as a pitcher. Okay, he played football. He played tight end, but they ran the straight T formation, so high school football. His before Mebane became Eastern Alamance. Dad was the last graduating class. Dad never talks about his experience when he went to the professional baseball school in Florida, okay, and got in, and they kept him. And there's a form of minor league system back then where they played, in several teams right there at the complex. He played for Hal. He was the manager for the Royals. Dick Hauser. I'm sorry, Dick Hauser.
Yeah.
He played for him for that summer.
Wow.
And also, Dad had an opportunity to play basketball at Carolina. Of course, how things were back then. But you're listening to other people, and Dad got inducted to the Hall of Fame in Mebane in 2016. And based on the thing, I never knew any of the things. He just didn't talk about it.
Mm-hmm.
But based on all the things they listed, he should have been on there in 1964, 2 years after he graduated.
Mm-hmm.
The things that he did and the accomplishments that he had. And then the fact that he went back at age 28 when I was born, graduated from Elon and started teaching because that's what he wanted to do and coach kids. But you never know your stories in your family sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
And
there's a lot of folks that did that could have done other things.
Yeah.
And it was more important to take care of other folks and other matters than to
he was always
go in
more,
your career.
No, you're right. He was always more, and you did this as a teacher too, but you were always more concerned about the people you were serving than yourself.
Yep.
And my dad has always been that way. And I'm going to tell you somebody else who told me stories about just me and him one day in the field. This was Coach Brown.
Mm-hmm.
He's talking about his opportunities to have a chance to play professional baseball, and ended up coming to LR, and of course he played base. Did that as well as football. But it's just really interesting, the way things were because they didn't have the ability to communicate, and you couldn't get it out mass communication wise. Obviously like you do today. I mean, you can still communicate, but it was limited. But the opportunities that may have been missed based on the time period.
But you know what? I would be willing to bet that the majority of those folks, had they known, wouldn't have changed a thing.
So my dad tells me, I say, Dad, God, you playing pro ball. What do you mean? He said, I said, I was kind of like using that thing in, Field of Dreams. Like it would be a travesty.
Yeah.
And a tragedy. He said, son, if I had not been a teacher and coach, that would have been the real truth.
Yeah.
And Dad's never really been a movie watcher as far as like now Westerns.
Yeah.
Throwing the bullets out of the gun.
Yeah.
He can watch that stuff all day long.
Mm-hmm.
The accuracy of that was amazing to me, by the way. Throwing the bullets hurt worse than shooting, right?
Mm-hmm.
But just think about that generation.
Oh, I know. Yeah, it's a whole different thing. Bob said Brookford School has always been an elementary school.
Okay.
But the field was built for the old Brookford Meal
Team. Okay.
Down at the bottom of the hill.
Yes,
just like Maiden was over here.
Yeah.
Same thing.
Now, they're in the book, though. The Brookford Meal Team is in the book. The Carolina Bob, I need to share that book with him. I know we're supposed to do lunch, and I'm sorry. I'm sorry. But it's a book like the Carolina League, maybe.
Yeah,
and it was the Milltown
right.
Leagues,
Mm-hmm.
but Brookford's team is in that book.
TJ said that they now use the field for travel football. Ridgeview Panthers, 8U. He's connected with that. TJ Thomas.
Oh, okay.
Right there.
Okay.
Yeah. Bob said many Hickory stars came through Brookford. Danny Thompson, Neil Stepp, to name a few. And Ronnie said those days people looked after family and friends.
Yeah.
That was first and not your individual.
Yeah.
That is correct, just in case you
missed
missed
it. It's getting back to that. With this younger generation, I'm seeing it because, like electricity to me and you wasn't a big deal. To our parents, man, that was great. All that, right? Telephone, big deal to us. Technology to this generation, these younger ones, it's like electricity.
Mm-hmm.
They have it. They function with it. But if they have to set it down for 20 minutes or 30 minutes or an hour or whatever, they'll check it when they get back. But they don't have to be on it all the time. Now, people say that's not true. They're Snapchatting. No, that's the way they communicate, like we would talk on the phone.
Right.
So it's not different. It's the same thing.
It's different technology.
Different technology. So it's not. What I'm saying is all of this stuff is regular to them. So what I found interesting is kids that are young will actually look in your eye. A lot of them will look in your eyes and talk to you now.
Mm-hmm.
Where the older generation, the 20s something through the late 30s, if you talk to them, they'll put their head down.
Yeah. Yeah.
Or they don't want you to call them; they want you to text them because calling them is an invasion of their privacy.
Mm-hmm.
It's very interesting how times, a lot of criticism of kids.
Nothing ever changes. It just comes in cycles.
Yeah, it just in different way, but same cycle. No, I'm with you. Yeah,
No,
but
it does.
yeah, cool stuff. Good
Have
stuff.
a great day, everybody.
Friends.
Tomorrow's Friday, hump day.